Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is David Novak. I have been reading The History of the United States by Henry Adams. I am into the second part where he describes the administration of James Madison. However, in this passage, he treats of Thomas Jefferson. President Jefferson earnestly urged the Indians to become industrious cultivators of the soil. But even for that reform, one condition was indispensable. The Indians must be protected from contact with the whites, and during the change in their mode of life, they must not be drugged, murdered, or defrauded. Trespasses on Indian land and purchases of tribal territory must for a time cease, until the Indian tribes should all be induced to adopt a new system. Even then, the reform would be difficult, for Indian warriors thought death less irksome than daily labor, and men who did not fear death were not easily driven to toil. There, President Jefferson's philanthropy stopped. His greed for land equaled that of any settler on the border, and his humanity to the Indian suffered the suspicion of having among its motives the purpose of gaining the Indian lands for the whites. Jefferson's policy in practice offered a reward for Indian extinction, since he not only claimed the territory of every extinct tribe on the doctrine of paramount sovereignty, but deliberately ordered his Indian agents to tempt the tribal chiefs into debt in order to oblige them to sell the tribal lands, which did not belong to them, but to their tribes. Quote, to promote this disposition to exchange lands which they have to spare and we want, for necessities which we have to spare and they want, we shall push our trading houses and be glad to see the good and influential individuals among them in debt, because we observe that when these debts get beyond what the individuals can pay, they become willing to lop them off by a cession of lands. Unquote. No one would have felt more astonishment than Jefferson had some friend told him that this policy, which he believed to be virtuous, was a conspiracy to induce trustees to betray their trusts, and that in morals it was as improper as though it were not virtuously intended. Shocked as he would have been at such a method of obtaining the neighboring estate of any Virginia family, he not only suggested but vigorously carried out the system toward the Indians. And then that segues into the wars by Harrison, whence arose the famous political slogan, Tippecanoe and Tyler too. Harrison, I believe, died 1 month into office, and now I don't feel so bad. I never knew the backstory. Adams spells it out pretty well. Of course, Tyler also was no pretty individual, let's say, being the only former president of the U.S. to side with the Confederacy in the Civil War. So that is Henry Adams, The History of the United States, published by Library of America. Thank you for stopping by my channel.